Now let me give the floor to Matías.
Hvala.
Thank you.
It's the only word I know. I'm pleased to be here again, this time with more people.
Veliko veselje mi je, da sem spet pri vas, tokrat vas je še več.
And also it's one of the few speeches I give in English.
Prav tako pa imate vi priložnost, da poslušate eno redkih predavanj, ki jih izvajam v angleščini.
So it's not my language, so I don't know some words or some expressions, so I will ask also.
Angleščina ni moj materni jezik, tako da bom morda povprašal za kakšen izraz.
And I will try to do my best to explain in a language that is not mine and even translate it.
Vendar pa se bom potrudil, da vam bom vse razložil v jeziku, ki sicer ni moj, poleg tega pa imamo še tolmačenje.
And, well, to try to solve all the questions that you have, that you can interrupt me if you want to ask something that is not clear during the speech.
Potrudil pa se bom, da bom pojasnil vse, kar vas bo dodatno še zanimalo. Če se vam porodi vprašanje, lahko mirno ustavite in prosite za mikrofon in postavite to vprašanje.
Matías told me that you already had a very big introduction about me, so I don't know if I have to explain a little bit more.
Mateja mi je že povedala, da ste vsi prejeli kar dober opis, kdo sem. Morda bi moral povedati še kaj več, ne vem.
But just in a few words, I would say that my job in this life is pedagogic more than spiritual for me.
Samo nekaj besed, če dovolite. Moja naloga v tokratnem življenju je pedagoška, torej moja pot je, da poučujem ljudi.
For me, the universe is like a big school where we all are learning.
In sicer seveda na področju duhovnosti. Zame je univerzum ena velika šola, v kateri se vsi učimo.
There is no masters, no, how do you call it, the students.
In v tej šoli ni nobenih učiteljev, niti nobenih učencev.
There are only a big classroom where we are all looking into different directions.
Vstajajo samo velike učilnice, v katerih pa vsi gledamo vsak, torej v različne smeri.
So sometimes when we are very focused on our own direction, we forget that we are all in this classroom.
In včasih, ko se zelo osredotočamo na tisto lastno pot, pozabimo na to, da smo vsi skupaj v tem velikem razredu.
So sometimes there is one of those that try to speak louder and explain the other ones that we all have to unite the different perspective of that classroom.
In tako se včasih najdejo tisti, ki zelo glasno govorijo, da se moramo vsi uskladiti in združiti vse te različne učilnice v eno.
We used to call them the librarians, the ones that hold,
ja. In tem smo v starih časih rekli, da so knjižničarji.
And I used to be one of them. We were also called like spiders of the network.
In tudi sam sem imel nekočno vlogo, prav tako pa so nas imenovali, da smo pajki, ki pletemo svetovno mrežo.
And but we all were working on that network too.
Ampak zdaj vsi delamo na ustvarjanju te mreže.
But a long time ago we decided to live in this reality, so we are focused on the third dimension.
Že dolgo je tega, ko pa smo se vsi odločili, da bomo zaživeli v tej tretji realnosti in se zdaj osredotočamo na njo.
So in some moments where we are switching our perspective on dimensions, we need people that already know those other dimensions to explain how it works.
In ko se iz te tretje dimenzije, na katero se osredotočamo, želimo si odpreti vrata v druge dimenzije, imamo lahko ob sebi torej te ljudi, ki te višje dimenzije že poznajo, vedo, kako delujejo.
The problem is that don't even us like me, have all the answers.
Ampak težava je v tem, da tudi mi, vključno z menoj, nimamo odgovorov na čisto vsa vprašanja.
We have only another perspective.
Ponudimo lahko le nekoliko drugačno drugo perspektivo.
So don't really believe everything I say.
In zato ne verjemite čisto vsega, kar vam govorim.
Just took the information that resounds with you.
Vzemite zase samo tiste informacije, ki rezonirajo z vami.
Because there are many channels to explain what I'm going to explain.
Kajti na svetu je zelo veliko ljudi, ki kanalizirajo in razlagajo to, kar bom razlagal jaz.
And there is many reflections and many distortions in the speech I will take.
Veliko je refleksij, veliko pa je tudi popačenosti v stvarih, ki jih bom zdaj razložil.
The first one is that this is not my language.
Prva stvar, prva težava je, da ne govorim v svoji materinščini.
But there's another one, which is my culture.
Potem pa obstaja še druga, to pa je moja kultura.
And the translation.
Pa še prevod.
And what I remember from the whole.
In vse to, kar se spomnim iz cele slike.
Which is not everything.
In to seveda ni čisto vse.
So, and also the way I was raised in this life.
Pridam pa naj še način vzgoje, kako so me vzgajali v tem življenju.
And we are three things in just one here. The spirit, the soul and the body.
In tukaj imamo tri stvari združeno v eno. Duh, duša in telo.
And usually the spirit wants something that the body don't want. And the soul is like someone dancing, trying to understand what the other ones want.
In običajno duh želi nekaj, česar telo ne želi. Duša pa nekje vmes poplesava in se trudi iz vsega tega dobiti en smisel.
So, until we get a common sentence in between those three, it's very difficult to explain something.
In preden človek pride do tega, da bi v en stavek spravil vse to, kar vsi ti trije govorijo, si predstavljate, da je to kar zahtevna naloga.
So that's why I say only take the things that resound. Because sound is the only thing that bounds everything in the universe.
In zato vam polagam na srce, da vzemite za svoje samo tisto, kar vam zveni, da rezonira z vami, kajti zvok je edina stvar, ki v resnici naredi ravnovesje v vesolju.
And if it doesn't resound, it doesn't mean it isn't true.
In če ne rezonira, če vam ne zveni, še ne pomeni, da ni res.
It just means that that's not the truth I need now.
To samo pomeni, to ni tista resnica, ki jo potrebujem zdaj v tem trenutku.
In the universe, the lie doesn't exist. Only exists different perspective of the truth.
V univerzumu laž ne obstaja. Obstajajo samo različni pogledi, različne perspektive na resnico.
So that's one of the things we are going to see here to try to understand.
To je ena od stvari, ki jo bomo danes tukaj videli, ki jo bomo poskušali razumeti.
So the thing is that what I try to do, I have two kind of jobs in this life, which is one, to help people remember, in one hand.
Imam namreč dve različni nalogi v tem življenju. Na eni strani poskušam pomagati ljudem, da se spomnijo.
And then reconnect the network of the consciousness in the planet, which is also remember. Put the members together.
Na drugi strani pa, da se na novo poveže ta planet v mrežo, kar pa spet pomeni na novo, ponovna povezava.
So right now, this is the pedagogical part. So I want to try to answer all the questions that you have according to what I'm going to explain.
In prav zdaj v tem trenutku se pojavljam v pedagoški vlogi, ko poskušam odgovoriti na vaše vprašanja.
Which is what's the shape of this big classroom and where are we on that classroom?
To pa je, kakšna je oblika te velike učilnice in kje smo mi v tem razredu, v tej učilnici.
What I'm trying to explain is about all these concepts that thousands of years we were learning in different lives, in different studies, catching all this information, so trying to put it all together.
To, pa, kar poskušamo razumeti, je, da poskušamo združiti vsa spoznanja iz različnih učilnic širom po svetu, da jih lahko povežemo v eno.
And one of the things I try to do is not to prepare anything I'm going to say.
In ena od stvari, ki jo vedno poskušam narediti, je, da se ne pripravim na tisto, kar vam imam povedati.
Because maybe I explain something that you don't want to listen, so if you ask, we go in that direction.
Kajti morda bi vam začel razlagati nekaj, česar ne želite poslušati. Če pa vprašate, potem bomo šli v tisto smer.
So the main thing is try to understand the reality we had created.
Glavna stvar je torej, da poskušamo razumeti realnost, ki smo jo mi ustvarili.
Why we created.
Zakaj smo jo ustvarili?
What's the goal of everything that we created?
In kaj je cilj vsega tega, kar smo ustvarili?
At least in essence, or the basement.
Vsaj v esenci, v osnovi.
And also to try to realize how to be not only aware, but responsible of what we have created.
Prav tako pa poskušamo biti ne le zavestni, ampak tudi odgovorni do tega, kar smo ustvarili.
We have 2000 years of cultural legacy of Christianity, for sure.
Za nami je zagotovo 2000 let krščanske dediščine.
So we have these kind of things about blame yourself, about your sins and all this stuff.
In v tovrstni kulturi smo prežeti s krivdo do sebe, z grehi in podobnimi zadevami.
About Jesus Christ as a Lord, or if we don't believe that in ourselves, is recorded.
In imamo Jezusa Kristusa, ki je naš Gospod, če tudi v to ne verjamemo, je to vkodirano v naše celice.
We organize the reality in such a way that the responsibility is outside.
In tako našo stvarnost organiziramo tako, da je odgovornost izven nas.
So to try to understand the reality in this way I'm going to explain, it means that we have to try to forget about many of the things we have learned in our cultures.
Da pa bi poskušali razumeti stvarnost, kot jo bom zdaj jaz razložil, pomeni, da moramo opustiti veliko vsega tega, kar smo prevzeli za svoje iz naše kulture.
But it doesn't mean that we have to just forget, because that culture is the basement to understand this.
Ampak to še ne pomeni, da moramo vse pozabiti, kajti ta kultura je osnova tega zdaj.
Yeah, so I guess that I don't know usually where to start, if the big picture or the small picture and then go beyond. I don't know, what do you prefer?
Sam običajno sploh ne vem, kje bi začel. Bi začel s širšo sliko, pa potem nazaj v središče, ali pa iz središča, iz tega pogleda, usmerjenega pogleda navzven. Ne vem, kaj je vam ljubše.
I usually start by the big picture, because the big picture is easily for me.
Običajno začnem s to širšo sliko, ker je to zame lažje.
And because of the universe is fractal, so whatever we take in this conversation, it would be the same, the big picture or the small picture, doesn't matter.
Univerzum je namreč razdeljen na posamezne delčke, na fraktale. In pravzaprav sploh ni pomembno, ali si pogledamo celo sliko ali pa en delček.
But also the problem is that the universe doesn't have a core.
Ampak problem pa je v tem, da univerzum nima jedra.
So that's the main problem why it's difficult to explain the universe, because you don't know where to start.
Ker je, in to je glavni razlog, zakaj je tako zelo težko razlagati, kaj je vesolje, ker ne veš, česa se oprijeti, kje začeti.
So one of the main things to understand the universe and the reality is to understand the perspectives of the universe, which we call the dimensions.
Ena od glavnih stvari za razumevanje vesolja je tisti pogled, tista perspektiva nečesa, čemur mi rečemo dimenzije.
You all know what dimension means?
Vsi veste, kaj pomeni dimenzija.
Or little idea? In which one we are, for example?
V kateri dimenziji recimo smo, na primer?
Do you have an idea?
Imate kakšno predstavo?
At least what we are observing right now.
Vsaj tista dimenzija, ki jo zdaj lahko zaznavamo. The third.
The third. We are on the third. Yeah, we are here in this third dimension. But we are moving on the fourth dimension.
Tako je, tukaj smo v tretji dimenziji, ampak se premikamo v četrto.
Our goals in our life are in the fifth dimension.
Naši cilji v našem življenju se nahajajo na peti dimenziji.
But the way we move in our lives, it's the second dimension.
Ampak način, kako se gibamo skozi svoje življenje, je pa na drugi dimenziji.
And we have no idea about the sixth dimension for sure.
In zagotovo se nam niti sanja ne, kaj je na šesti dimenziji.
That's why we are trapped in this kind of reality.
In zato smo ujeti v tovrstni realnosti.
So, to understand where we are, we have to first understand that we are in the third dimension.
Da bi razumeli, kje smo, moramo najprej razumeti, da se nahajamo v tretji dimenziji.
But there is some mistake in which we usually, the spiritual people, fall usually, that we believe that we are in the third dimension, and if we go to the fourth dimension, we go high, and then the fifth dimension go higher, and like that.
Ampak napaka, ki jo tisti, ki se ukvarjamo z duhovnostjo, pogosto naredimo, je naša predstava, češ da, ko gremo iz tretje dimenzije v četrto, gremo višje, iz četrte spet višje, na peto in tako naprej.
And we have to remember that the universe is not like this. It's not layers.
In spomniti se moramo na to, da univerzum ni narejen na tak način po plasteh.
Actually, all dimensions exist right now, here. At the same moment.
Zaprav, vse dimenzije obstajajo sočasno, prav tukaj in zdaj, v istem trenutku.
Dimensions means the different perspectives of just one reality.
Dimenzija pomeni samo drugačna perspektiva, drugačen pogled na isto stvarnost.
And to understand all these dimensions, we have to understand what is that only reality.
In da bi razumeli vse te perspektive, moramo razumeti, kaj pravzaprav stvarnost je.
And this only reality is from we all come from and where we are all going to.
In ta stvarnost pomeni odgovor na vprašanje, odkot prihajamo vsi mi in kam vsi gremo.
Which dimension do you think it is?
Kaj mislite, na katero dimenzijo, za katero dimenzijo gre?
If we are all coming from one point,
če vsi prihajamo iz ene točke.
What's the first dimension?
0 point.
The 0
Katera
point.
je prva dimenzija, nična točka.
Yeah, the 0 point. Now we are going to see it. And then we have 3 points more where we go back to the center.
Točno, to je nična točka, ki jo bomo zdaj le videli, potem pa imamo še 3 točke, skozi katere oziroma iz katere gremo vsi v središče.
1, 7, and 9.
1, 7 in 9.
So, what we call the 0 point, the main point of everything, is the emptiness, the vacuum.
To, čemu rečemo nična točka, kjer je vse, temu rečemo vakuum, nič in vse.
Which is the acknowledge of the self, is the being in complete meditation. It's just one consciousness in complete meditation.
To je prepoznavanje sebe, samo ena popolna meditacija enega bitja.
So it's just one being, just thinking in nothing.
To je eno bitje, ki nima nobenih misli.
That's why he knows everything, or it knows everything.
In zato ve vse.
But we used to explain in these dimensions, we used to explain this story like this. the main consciousness, it was the nothing, the emptiness. And then he knew a lot of things about himself, but he had no idea what could it be. What could he be in the future?
In v teh dimenzijah smo tu razložili zgodbo. Tu imamo bitje, ki ve, kdo je, ki ve čisto vse, ampak ne ve, na kakšen način pravzaprav lahko udejani ta svoja spoznanja.
So we have one reality, which is I know who I am, but who could I be?
Imamo torej realnost, ampak kdo bombonček slučajno kakšen zagrlo. Vem, kdo sem, ne vem pa, kdo bi lahko postal, kdo bi lahko bil.
So the 0 point is just an answer and a question in the same sentence.
Nična točka torej pomeni odgovor in vprašanje v istem stavku.
Which is like, I am, something like that.
To pomeni, jaz sem, torej I am. Yeah.
But with a kind of question.
Aha, ampak na nek način, ko da istočasno, ko rečeš jaz sem, tudi postaviš vprašanje jaz sem.
So the librarians used to say that consciousness is like someone living on a big library with many, many books. And he read all the books, everything. He knows everything read in the books.
Knjižničarji so to ponazorili s prispodobo. Predstavljajte si nekoga, ki je v knjižnici in prebral je čisto vse možne knjige.
But he never there to go outside the library to see if that things that he was reading about were real or not.
Ampak ta človek nikoli ni odšel ven iz knjižnice, da bi ugotovil, ali vse te stvari resnično držijo ali ne.
So the 0 point is the moment in which that being is sitting with all this knowledge here and just empty,
In
thinking nothing.
to je ta nična točka. Človek, ki je vsa ta spoznanja prebral, zdaj pa sedi v popolnem niču, brez misli.
And the start moment, the one dimension, is when he realizes, or it or she, whatever, realize that must open the eyes and see if it is true.
In to je nična točka, ko sedi in spozna, da mora odpreti oči, da ugotovi, ali je vse to res.
So, according to this, the whole process of the universe, everything that we know, everything that we will know, is just about knowing ourselves.
In zato je glede na to spoznanje celoten univerzum, vse naše življenje, bistvo vsega, samo spoznanje, kdo sem.
And to find all the paths that could show us the possibilities of who I am.
In tako je naš namen najti tisto pot, ki nam pokaže čisto vse možnosti spoznanja tega, kar sem.
So to draw it, I hope you could see.
Upam, da boste videli na tablo.
Okay. Yeah. If you don't see it here, I will draw the 3 of them.
Če ne boste videli, potem bom risal na vse te table.
Okay. Thank you. So we imagine that we are in the 0 point.
Torej, predstavljajte si, da smo na tej nični točki.
Emptiness, the vacuum,
To je praznina, vakuum,
where everything is.
kjer je vse.
Nothing exists, not even time, not even space, nothing. Just the consciousness of the self.
Tu ne obstaja čisto nič. Ne čas, ne prostor, samo zavest jaza.
And then I realized that to find myself, I must open my eyes.
Potem pa spoznam, da če se želim najti, moram odpreti oči.
So what it was sure for me, which is I am,
In to, kar drži zame, kar je moja resnica, to pa je jaz sem.
now starts as a question. who I am.
se zdaj začne kot vprašanje, kdo sem.
So there is number 1 coming up. Is the first dimension.
In tu iz tega kroga izide prva številka, to je številka 1, prva dimenzija.
The first dimension is that dimension in which, after that meditation, we open our eyes and see everything around us.
Prva dimenzija je tista dimenzija, v kateri odpremo oči in vidimo čisto vse, kar nas obdaja.
And is where we can see all the books of the reality projecting outside from within.
Tu lahko vidimo, če si predstavljate, kot vse knjige v naši knjižnici, ki obstajajo, ki se projecirajo iz naše notranjosti navzven.
So, at this moment, we realize that we have to move. Because when we see everything, suddenly it's like a very desperate situation. Because there's so much that we don't know where to go.
V tem trenutku se v nas rodi želja, da se moramo premakniti. Kot da bi prišli v neko stanje brezupa, kajti toliko vsega je, da sploh ne vemo, kam se lahko napotimo.
So there's when the second dimension comes.
In tu se pojavi druga dimenzija.
When I focus my complete vision in just one point.
Ko moj celoten pogled osredotočim samo na eno točko.
So I go out from myself to look for a part of myself.
Torej grem ven iz sebe, da bi našel del sebe.
We call that the positive.
Temu rečemo pozitiv plus.
Because it's the movement I do to go farther, to look for some point.
Kajti tu je moje gibanje, ko se usmerim v iskanje neke točke.
And I decide where to start, which book I decide to start.
In tu se sam odločim, kje bom začel, s katero knjigo bom začel.
In other words, we used to call the positive the purpose.
Z drugimi besedami smo temu pozitivnemu navoju rekli namen.
Yeah? The purpose. So all of us has the same purpose.
Torej imamo mi vsi isti namen.
We all share the same purpose.
Vsem nam je skupen isti cilj.
But then it starts to divide. So, but what happened in the universe when you have a positive?
Kasneje pa se začne ta deliti. Ampak kaj se zgodi v vesolju, ko imamo plus?
Inevitable, we have the negative. Why is that? Because when I move from the very center forward, it means that I am leaving something behind. Yeah? It's the strength, a force that will pull me to the center again.
Je neizogibno, da se na drugi strani pojavi minus. Kajti v trenutku, ko iz te izhodiščne točke naredim premik v eno smer, me sila vleče nazaj v nično točko.
So when I look and I focus on the purpose, there is something behind me that we call mission.
Torej, ko pogledam in se osredotočim na svojo namero, obstaja na drugi strani nekaj, čemu rečemo poslanstvo.
So this is the two perspectives of the universe.
To sta torej dve perspektivi vesolja.
Second dimension, purpose and mission.
Druga dimenzija, namen in poslanstvo.
We also used to call this time.
Temu smo prav tako rekli čas.
And this space.
Temu spodaj pa prostor.
What it means, that the purpose is where we move and we flow around the universe.
Kaj to pomeni? Namen je tisto, s čimer se premikamo in smo pretočeni v vesolju.
And the space is the only place where we can experience this.
Prostor pa je edino, kar nam omogoči izkušnjo tega časa.
You can't focus on one point if you don't have two eyes.
Na eno točko pa se ne morete osredotočiti, če nimate dvoje očes.
So that's why we need two parts of our being to focus on one point.
Zato potrebujemo dva dela našega bitja, da se lahko osredotočimo na eno samo točko.
I'm not speaking about good and bad. I'm speaking just positive and negative.
Ne govorim o dobrem in slabem, govorim samo o pozitivnem in negativnem.
So this is the second dimension.
To je torej druga dimenzija.
And then, what we are going to see here is that at the moment we move to the positive, there is something that is pulling us to go back to the center. That is the magnetism.
Zdaj pa bomo videli, kaj je tisto, kar nas vleče, ko naredimo korak v pozitivno, nazaj v nično točko. In to je magnetizem.
Also called gravity.
Ki mu rečemo prav tako težnost.
So gravity and magnetism try to pull us to go back to the core, to the center of ourselves.
Ta težnost, gravitacija in magnetizem nas vlečeta, da se vračamo nazaj k sebi, nazaj v svoje jedro.
This is an eternal movement, once and again, trying to look for the core, for the center.
In to gibanje je večno gibanje. Spet in spet se gibamo v iskanju središča.
We used to call this proton,
Temu smo nekoč rekli proton,
neutron,
neutron,
electron,
elektron.
the Trinity.
To je trojnost, trojstvo.
I know that we used to call the Trinity the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You know that.
Vem, da smo temu trojstvu rekli Oče, Sin in Sveti Duh, saj poznate to.
Christianity have this way of seeing the Trinity, and the science has this way of seeing the Trinity.
Krščanstvo ima torej tak pogled na to trojnost, trojstvo. Znanost pa razlaga trojnost na tak način.
What we call the Holy Spirit is the Spirit.
Čemu krščanstvo pravi Sveti Duh, mi rečemo Duh.
The Father is the soul, for example.
Oče, denimo, je duša.
And the Son is the body. So the Trinity too.
Sin pa je telo in je spet trojstvo.
But this is something really human or cultural.
Ampak to je nekaj popolnoma človeškega oziroma kulturnega.
Biologically, we have the Mother, the Father, and the Son.
Biološko pa imamo mater, očeta in sina.
Yeah, but in the main core of the universe, we have these three, which is time, space, and gravity.
Ampak trojstvo univerzuma pa ima čas, prostor in bežnost.
For sure, most people here are spiritual people.
Zagotovo je večinoma vseh nas tukaj in smo duhovna bitja.
So we used to call this the light,
In tako smo nekoč temu rekli luč,
the dark,
tema,
dharma,
dharma,
karma.
karma.
And to this we call love.
Temu pa rečemo ljubezen.
Yeah? Gravity is the love.
Težnost je ljubezen.
But this is so a human way of seeing it. That love is not the love that two humans have each other.
Ampak naš človeški pogled je tak, kajti ljubezen ni tista ljubezen med dvema človekoma.
Love is something more simple and complicated.
Ljubezen je nekaj dosti bolj preprostega in dosti bolj kompleksnega.
So love creates the sun between positive and negative.
Ljubezen je tista, ki ustvari sina iz pozitivnega in negativnega, oziroma sonce.
The sun is the one that is allowed to see both in just one spot.
In on je tisti, ki mu je dovoljeno videti oboje v eni sami točki.
If you are the negative, in order to see the positive, and if you are the positive, in order to see the negative, you need a third point of view.
Če si minus, pa želiš videti plus, in če si plus, pa želiš videti minus, potrebuješ še tretji pogled.
So that's why we create the third dimension.
In zato se ustvari tretja dimenzija, smo ustvarili tretjo dimenzijo.
What is the third dimension? Is the point, the reality, where we experience the duality.
Kaj je tretja dimenzija? Tretja dimenzija je tista točka, v kateri lahko izkusimo to dvojnost.
Living in a world like this is bringing on practice everything that we have ever dreamed or thought.
To, da živimo v drugi dimenziji, nam omogoči, oziroma v tretji dimenziji nam omogoči vaditi, trenirati, izkusiti tisto, kar smo kadarkoli sanjali in mislili.
So here, the positive and the negative are exactly the same because we are looking at them at the same point.
In tu sta pozitivno in negativno popolnoma enaka, zato ker ju gledamo iz iste točke.
So this is why when you try to reach the light, the worse in life you are.
In zato, to je zdaj razlaga, zakaj, ko se tako zelo trudimo doseči svetlobo, dlje od središčne točke ste.
Did it happen to you that when you are a light worker or looking to the light or angels, wherever, suddenly the worst things used to happen?
Se vam je kdaj zgodilo, ste kdaj izkusili, ko ste iskali, ko ste imeli to hrepenenje po svetlobi, ste poslanec luči, gledate angele in takrat se vam zgodijo lahko najhujše stvari.
And as closer you get to the light, more dark around you.
Bližje kot ste svetlobi, je obenem okrog vas več teme.
This is easily to explain.
To je zlahka razumeti in razložiti.
As close as you get to the light,
bližje, ko pridete do svetlobe,
there is more dark because you are in the center of the room.
Več je teme, kajti vi ste v središču sobe.
And here the light is not the center of the room.
In tu pa svetloba ni na sredini te sobe.
So light is not the goal of the universe.
In zato svetloba ni cilj univerzuma.
Light is the focus where we have seen our purpose.
Svetloba je fokus, kjer smo videli svoj namen.
So that means it's outside.
To pomeni, da je zunaj.
So imagine that there is a light or lantern or how do you call it, lamp? Yeah, on a corner.
Svetilko, ki sveti nekje v kotu.
And you see the light because it's the only thing you have in the room and you say, I want to go there.
In vidite ta vir svetlobe, ker je edini vir v prostoru in si rečete, tja želim.
Because I will feel more pleased and comfortable.
Kajti tam mi bo došlo bolj udobno, bolj prijetno, več srca.
So I go there. But as closer I get to this focus, what happened to the rest of the room?
In se napotim v to smer. In bližje, ko prihajam k temu viru svetlobe, kaj se zgodi s preostalim svetlobe?
The shadow is bigger.
Senca je vse večja.
Yeah, it's easy to see. Yeah, so as close I get to the light, the shadow around me is bigger.
Si lahko to predstavljate? Bližje, ko se približujem svetilki, večja je senca okrog mene.
The shadow is just trying to remember me that this is not where I belong.
Senca je tista, ki me želi spomniti, da ne spadam v to točko, ta vir svetlobe.
That I belong to the self.
Ampak da spadam k sebi, vase.
Which is in the center, in the middle.
To pa je na sredini.
Where I can see every point from the same point of view.
Kjer lahko pogledam čisto na vse iz
Same
iste
distance.
točke, z isto razdaljo.
So the only way you can go through the third dimension is not going by light.
In edini način, da gremo lahko skozi tretjo dimenzijo, ni pot v luč,
Is by unifying both of them
ampak združenjem obeh strani.
and go through them,
In pot skozi to točko.
what we call the fourth dimension.
In temu rečemo četrta dimenzija.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We call this the four stages of the universe.
In temu rečemo 4 stopnje vesolja.
Every being in the universe, even a flea, even a cell, a planet, a galaxy, us, has the same 4 stages.
Vsako bitje v tem vesolju, od najmanjše živalice, najmanjše muhe, do vesolja, mi sami, vsi imamo te 4 stopnje.
We call the first one the expression.
Prvi rečemo izraz,
Then we have experimentation.
potem sledi preizkus,
Then we have integration.
sledi integracija
And then transcendence.
Na koncu pa prehod, transcendenca.
So, when we focus on something, we are beings creating a new reality.
Torej, ko se na nekaj osredotočimo, smo bitja, ki ustvarjamo novo realnost.
And to create, we have to express ourselves outside.
In zato, da nekaj ustvarimo, se moramo izraziti navzven.
When the universe did this for the first time, create the time.
Ko je univerzum to prvič naredil, se je ustvaril čas.
It did like a breath, deep breath.
Zgodilo se je nekaj kot nek globok vdih.
And the wave start to go all over the reality.
In val je preplavil celo stvarstvo.
We call this like this. The breathing of the universe.
Temu procesu rečemo dihanje vesolja.
The first is the time, then is the core, the center, holding the reality and expressing the space.
Vdih je čas, potem ta dih zadrži naše jedro univerzuma, izdih pa je prostor.
So what happened when the universe did like this?
Kaj se je zgodilo, ko je univerzum naredilo ta izdih?
We used to know it as the Big Bang.
Temu smo rekli veliki pok.
Yeah? The time, silence, and yeah, the expression.
Čas, tišina in potem izraz.
So the expression created many, many ways to see the reality.
Izraz je torej ustvaril različne, ogromno načinov, kako lahko vidimo realnost.
So the self start to live in each of these new realities, galaxies, quasars, planets.
Ta jaz je torej začel živeti v teh različnih galaksijah, na različnih planetih.
Which is the third dimension.
In to je tretja dimenzija.
And in the fourth dimension, it has the ways to escape or go outside the third dimension.
Na četrti dimenziji pa obstaja način, kako pobegniti, se umakniti iz te tretje dimenzije.
Why? Because from the third dimension, you can live just one reality in positive and negative.
Zakaj? Zato, ker na tretji dimenziji lahko živiš samo eno stvarnost, v pozitivnem in negativnem.
And at the fourth dimension, you can see why you create this path.
Na četrti dimenziji pa lahko vidiš, zakaj si ustvaril to pot.
So you have many levels of time and space where you could see why you created this.
In imaš več različnih ravni časa in prostora, kjer lahko razumeš, zakaj si to ustvaril.
So we have three ways to go to the fourth dimension.
Imamo pa tri načine, da gremo v četrto dimenzijo.
By the spiritual way,
Na duhoven način,
by the soul way,
na način po poti duše
or the body way.
ali po poti telesa.
Yeah? Spirit, soul, and body.
Duh, duša in telo.
So if we go through the spirit, what we do is that we can see the reality and we can understand the reality and the fourth dimension.
Če gremo skozi duha, lahko vidimo realnost, lahko razumemo četrto dimenzijo.
We used to call this point the higher self.
Tej točki smo nekoč rekli višji jaz.
It's not other one, it's not some guide or some master.
Ampak to ni nekdo drugi, nek vodnik, nek mojster.
It's just myself looking into the whole picture.
To sem jaz sam, ki gledam na celo sliko.
So that's why when you connect with the higher self, you could see the things more clear.
In zato lahko stvari vidite dosti bolj jasno, ko se povežete s svojim višjim jazom.
Because this is the light, so you can enlight everything to see the whole picture.
Kajti to je svetloba in lahko osvetli vse, da vidite širšo sliko.
You can go through the soul, which is feeling the fourth dimension.
Lahko greste skozi dušo, kar pomeni, da čutite četrto dimenzijo.
You have the sensations, the feelings, you can hear, listen, people living in the fourth dimension.
Imate zaznave, lahko čutite, lahko slišite, četrto dimenzijo ljudi, ki živijo na četrti dimenziji.
The first step for schizophrenia.
To je prvi korak do schizofrenije.
Yeah. That's the first stage.
To je prva faza.
And then we have the other, the body.
Potem pa imamo še telo.
We call that death.
Temu rečemo smrt.
It's the easy part, the easy way.
Ta način je najlažji.
Too much pain, too difficult, too hard, so we die.
Tu je preveč bolečine, pretežko je, prenaporno je in raje preprosto umremo.
Die is easier, yeah?
Umreti je dosti lažje.
So it's for lazy people.
Smrt je za lenuhe.
But we created death as a way to go here because these paths are so hard to take that death is the only thing that helps us to change all the reality once and again.
Ampak smrt smo si ustvarili
Even if we are not able to.
samo zato, ker sta obe preomenjeni poti tako zelo težki in zahtevni. Je to najlažji način, da vidimo to sliko, tudi če prej v življenju nismo uspeli.
Yeah, so we don't have to fear death because it's just a way to release.
In zato se nam smrti ni treba bati, ker je to samo način, ko se popolnoma prepustimo.
Yeah, it's just one path. If you go through this path, you could usually live hundreds of years, thousands of years.
To je pač le ena od poti. Če pa gremo po zgornji poti, potem lahko človek živi na stotine let, na tisoče let.
And we used to do that.
In nekoč smo bivali na tak način.
On the first planets and realities we created.
Na prvih planetih, v prvih stvarnostih, ki smo jih ustvarili.
But it was so boring.
Ampak to je bilo dolg čas.
Imagine living just one life, 1,000 years being the same person.
A si lahko sploh predstavljate, da živiš eno samo življenje, 1000 let in si ves čas eno isti.
I bet you want to die.
Se kar predstavljam, da bi si takrat pa res želeli umreti.
So that's why the light created the structure, the most compressed reality.
In zato je svetloba ustvarila to strukturo, najbolj zgoščeno stvarnost.
And there was a part of our consciousness that said, if we go deep into the dark, it would be easier to experience more things than if we are in light.
In del naše zavesti je bil tisti, ki si je rekel, če gremo globoko, globoko v negativno, bom lahko dobil dosti več izkušenj in doživeti, kot jih imam, če sem ves čas v svetlobi.
It's just for something really easy to see, which is the only way you can jump is by doing this.
Zdaj pa nekaj, kar boste zlahka prepoznali. Torej, edini način, da skočimo v zrak, je takole.
Yeah? So that's how you take the strength to go up,
S počepom
only going down.
dobi moč, da se dvigne in potem se spusti.
So if you want to change realities, you have to go down and then jump.
Če torej res želite spremeniti realnost, morate narediti globok počep in potem se dvignete.
Yeah? So we call that the waves of frequency.
Torej greste najprej dol in temu rečemo valovi frekvenc.
Which is if this is connected like this, the frequency, where is the frequency? Here. I will do it.
Zdaj tu frekvenca.
Yeah? You see the pattern?
Vidite zdaj ta vzorec.
Waves?
Valovi.
Yeah? So you have negative and positive.
Tu imamo negativno in pozitivno.
It's the only way that everything moves in the universe, like that, like that.
Tu je edini način gibanja vsega v univerzumu.
These start to move like this, like rolling.
Ta lik
Rotating.
se začne vrteti okrog svoje osi.
Yeah, rotating. So at the moment it rotates, these waves that we used to see like this, when you go straight to the point of the line, we are going to see this.
In se zgodi valovanje, ki smo ga nekoč prepoznali samo v linearni predstavi, ampak v trenutku, ko pogledate z drugega gledišča, pa vidite tole.
Yeah, negative, positive, negative, positive. That's the only way how the light moves through the universe.
Negativno, pozitivno. To je edini način, kako se svetloba lahko premika skozi univerzum.
So, the soul, the spirit moves like this, in a higher consciousness and lower consciousness.
Duh se torej premika na tak način, z višjo zavestjo in z nižjo zavestjo.
The soul moves in positive emotions and negative emotions.
Duša se giba skozi pozitivna čustva in negativna čustva.
And the body is the feminine and the masculine.
Telo pa je moško in žensko.
That's why this is the shape of the DNA.
Zato imamo zdaj kar naenkrat predstav oziroma sliko DNK.
Yeah, the DNA is the body or material shape of how light moves through the universe.
DNK je telo oziroma materialna oblika in predstavlja giben način, kako se svetloba giba skozi vesolje.
So, we came up from here, we went to the 2 points, then we created the third and then the fourth.
Prišli smo torej iz središčne točke, ustvarili 2 točki zgoraj in spodaj, potem pa še tretjo in četrto.
But the universe is not like this, it's not flat.
Ampak univerzum ni ploščat, ni raven.
It expresses in every direction.
Izraža se v vse smeri.
That's why after the fourth dimension, where do we go?
In zato je vprašanje, kam pa gremo po četrti dimenziji.
We already have the basement, which is the fourth.
Tu že imamo osnovo, to je četrta dimenzija.
So, if we are here, the fourth,
Če smo mi zdaj tukaj na četrti,
we have something here. We can see the whole process.
se tu lahko razprostre celoten proces.
Yeah, which is this shape here.
To je ta oblika.
Yeah. So when you see the whole process, this became one eye.
In ko vidite celoten proces, ta lik postane eno oko.
The eye that sees everything.
Tisto oko, ki vidi vse.
Once and again, once and again.
Spet in spet.
That's why God's symbol is an eye, one eye.
In zato je eno oko simbol Boga.
The eye that sees everything.
To je oko, ki vidi vse.
Then we go more on this. So we have the fourth dimension and the 0 point. This is the 0 point, the middle,
Imamo torej četrto dimenzijo, na sredini nično točko.
that became the one.
Ta postane ena.
And then we have the second dimension, the third dimension, the fourth dimension.
Potem pa imamo drugo dimenzijo, tretjo in četrto.
Where's the fifth?
Kje pa je peta?
The fifth dimension is the one that allows you to see the whole process from above.
Peta dimenzija je tista, ki vam omogoči pogled na celoten proces od zgoraj.
The pyramid.
To je piramida.
Yeah, the fifth dimension is the one that allows you to see with clarity all the process you have created.
Peta dimenzija je tista, ki vam omogoči jasen pogled na celoten proces, ki ste ga ustvarili.
But you won't go to the fifth dimension until you realize about the fourth.
Ampak na peto dimenzijo ne boste šli, dokler ne pridete do spoznanj četrte.
Otherwise, you are not a complete being.
V nasprotnem primeru niste celostno bitje.
That's why don't run to the fifth dimension.
In zato naj se vam ne mudi v peto dimenzijo.
Yeah? Because if you go there and you don't have one pot, how do you say it? This.
Basis. No?
Just one of this leg, just one of this leg. So the whole structure we created will fall.
Torej, če greste namreč tja, pa vam manjka ena stranica, ena noga, potem se zruši celoten proces.
So for example, if I as a being, decided, for example, I want to see the most deep part of me.
Če sem se jaz kot bitje odločil, dobro, želim videti najglobji del mene.
So I see the most deep part of me, and that's my purpose, to see the most deep part of me. So I look into it.
In je to zdaj moj namen, želim videti najglobji delček sebe in ga zdaj gledam.
And it's the light, so it's beautiful.
In to je svetloba, čudovito je.
So maybe in this life I create that symbol as another person.
In tako morda v tem življenju ustvarim ta simbol kot neko drugo osebo.
So I create that person and I start to move by gravity around him or her.
Ustvarim to drugo osebo in po sili gravitacije se začnem gibati okrog te osebe.
So when I start to move to him or her, I start to know that I'm in love of him or her.
In ko me sila težnosti vleče k njej ali k njemu, potem vem, da sem zaljubljen v to osebo.
And when I got to him or her, I married, for example.
In ko pridem do nje ali njega, pride do poroke, torej se na primer poročim.
And the dark starts.
Pa se začne tema.
So what is the dark doing? Pulling me back, yeah, to say, no, this is not me. Yeah, I have to be in my center.
Kaj dela tema? Tema me vleče nazaj in mi sporoča, ne, pa to vendar nisem jaz. Vleče me nazaj v moje lastno središče.
So the most important thing is to go here. But most of the people get divorced. Yeah.
Najbolj pomembna stvar je, da gremo v to točko, ampak večinoma se ljudje ločijo.
Yeah, because we go to the opposite side.
Zato, ker gremo na drugo stran.
And this is like a pendulum.
In to je kot nihalo.
Vum, vum, vum. And as most deep is the emotion, harder it goes. Yeah? So I was here in love, and then, no, I don't want it anymore. But suddenly it appears again, and he said, no, I don't want to see him. But suddenly I turned the street, and there it is again. Yeah?
Globja kot je to čustvo, vse višje in višje niha to nihalo. Vleče vas k tej osebi, ne, pa ne želim tega in spet in vsakič gre nihalo višje.
So this became the experience of life and started to be in the infinite.
In to je postala izkušnja našega življenja, ki je ustvarila ta znak neskončnosti.
So what happened here? If I don't realize that this is my own creation,
in kaj se tukaj zgodi? Če se ne zavem, če ne spoznam, da je vse to moja lastna stvaritev,
I will die, and at the next life, I will see this, and this again, and this again, and this again. It's a beautiful flower, but it's horrible.
takrat umrem in ko se vrnem, ustvarjam nove in nove cvetne liste.